Welcome to Red Chameleon. If you like the video, please smash the like button. Today's AskReddit question is, Tattoo artists of Reddit, what's the most beautiful or saddest request you have ever gotten? Or one that has stood out? Let's get started. My husband has a tattoo of his previous fiancée who died of cancer at only 39 years old. It's a woman going up a staircase, and a clock at the time she died. I always thought it was a really sad, but touching memorial. My tattoo artist once tattooed a sunflower on a man who lost his daughter from suicide. Apparently she was in a mentally abusive relationship. The ex drove her mad, spiraling into depression, and eventually, she committed suicide. On the last note she wrote about being sorry as she would definitely disappoint her dad. They were close during the relationship. However, the father was working abroad. The sunflower on his side symbolizes the daughter will always be with him, as he was one of the primary sources for her happiness. Do you know how sunflowers always grow facing the sun? A heartbreaking tale of a man wishing he could have done more, like maybe put his feet down and break the abusive cycle she was in. Don't know what happened to the ex. I hope that scumbag has permanent hemorrhoids. A woman came straight from her father's funeral with his final will and testament and had me put a signature on her arm. She could hardly make out the words, and we both cried the entire time. It was such a deep experience. I couldn't charge her. My best friend died a few years ago in a car accident. The very last conversation we ever had was a phone conversation of him telling me about his new tattoo. Obviously, he never got to show it to me, but his mom sent me a picture of it a few months later, with her permission. I went and got the same tattoo a year and a half after his death. The kicker is, I lived a couple of hours away from the artist who did my friend's tattoo, so I went to her. It was so healing to get to talk to someone who had seen him. And now I have a great tattoo with a great story. Simple but beautiful story. An elderly man came into the tattoo shop for his first tattoo. He wanted his wife's name. While drawing it up for him, he explained his wife of 45 years had just passed away a month ago. He told me she never wanted him to have a tattoo, but he was in the service and always wanted one of her name, but he never got it because she wouldn't let him. He says, "I don't mean to be ornery or disrespect her wishes. I just need a piece of her with me until we're together again." I'm answering for my brother. He's a talented tattoo artist with his own shop in Colorado. When my first child was born, at 23 weeks super preemie, he was 13. He drew a gorgeous name tag for her incubator in the NICU based on her name Emily Rose. She passed away from pneumonia when she was 3 years old. Years later, my brother gave me a tattoo of a reimagining of that name sign. All freehand, and it is gorgeous. His art welcomed his niece into the world, and his art celebrated her life when she left it. I managed the tattoo shop and we were about to close when a group of 6 well-dressed people came in. I asked if they came from a wedding. Complete opposite. They were coming from a funeral. All of them got a paper plane tattoo. Most people, this was their first tattoo. They kept getting calls, and 8 more people came, totaling almost 16 people getting tatted, plus guests hanging out. I had to ask artists to work overtime and stay back, but they all wanted to help this family and group of friends go through this tough time. For privacy, I won't mention how the person they were paying tribute passed. But the reason they got paper planes is that she looked exactly like Emma apparently, and paper planes were their inside joke with her. We let them take over the music for the shop and blast that song as loud as possible. And to see sad broken people smiling and dancing and celebrating, this person's life touched me. Edit. While the response has been unbelievable. Thank you everyone for the love they've shown on this comment. I hope it inspires people to be nice and try to uplift someone having a bad day, whether someone close to you or a complete stranger. You really have no idea how much of an impact you can make on a person's day. I tattooed a pig and rooster on a young couple's feet. He got the rooster, she got the pig. Traditionally, sailors would get these designs tattooed as a superstitious way to keep from drowning. A few months later, he contacted me to let me know that a while after they got the tattoos, they broke up. She then took her own life. He came back to me to get the pig tattooed on his other foot to match. It was a heavy day for sure.